Okay, morning everyone. Those at home, I hope you're ready. So this is our week 13, second last week, and we are actually entering our final chapter. So you can see the screen in front of you. Chapter 8. We split into two, like chapter 7, now we have part A and part B. See here, this is part A. Now, as I mentioned, that those of you who have taken MS, you may have learned this chapter part B. Okay, we started with this what we call arithmetic progression as well as geometric progression. Right now, the basis of this small topics, we call it progression, is because we are going to use the concept to apply into our financial mathematics. I'm sure everyone you have learned your finance subject, right? Finance subjects, what else? Economics, those who are doing banking and finance, right? You'll learn how to calculate interest and so on. So to start with this concept, actually those who have learned progression, this is called arithmetic, AP, and the other one is GP, right? This is the concept that we have to go through. But again, we will emphasize from simple interest first. So for this AP and GP, I will come back later, okay? Because this one is not our emphasis. Our emphasis is use the idea, the concept, and apply into our here. We start from here. Simple and compound interest. Okay. So for AP and GP, I come back later. Okay. Now, if everyone ready, so I will do the video recording. I hope class reps you take note if any of your members have any questions and so on. This is the second last chapter, second last week already. Next week, week 14, which is our ending. I hope all coursework marks will finalize already because we are actually entering the intranet. And after next week, there's no more lecture and tutorial, and preparing for the final reading. Okay, so any one of you have any questions, class rep can let your tutors know or course coordinator. If you don't have, then we start class, right? Okay, so as I mentioned before, those of you who do banking and finance, not only banking finance, common degree. I mean that those who study this economic stuff, you also like study what do you call it, financial statement and so on, right? Okay, now when you want to calculate this interest, we call it dividend. Basic layman term, a person who save money in the bank or any financial institutions or any what do you call it, unit trust fund, right? Okay, all these are actually giving us money. Or else, why we want to save money in the bank? Correct? Why we want to save money in the unit trust, right? So all these are actually, even in the insurance company nowadays, they offer a lot of package. We call it the earmark with not only buy insurance, the earmark with some investment fund, which will give dividend. So this interest is actually, in other words, called dividend. Anyone don't know what it's called? Also, Malaysia we call it what? Bunga. With bunga, not the flower. Dividend means the extra money given to what? Depositor. What's called depositor? Person who save money, right? Otherwise, no people want to save money. So we have two types. The most common one, the basic of dividend, is called simple and compound. All right. For this chapter, we're going to introduce the basic, the most basic first. Talk about interest, and when we study interest, we have to look at a few terms. Right? Some terms which is very common and very important for us to learn before we start to calculate. Okay, the first one, identify the symbol. We call it principal amount. P. I'm sure you all heard this word principal, right? What's principal? Principal is not the headmaster, right? Principle is you can relate to your own words. Okay, so we use Mandarin. they write Mandarin words here, Chinese word. Some use Malay. It's called pokok. Pokok. I use Malay lah. You want to use Mandarin or you want to use Tamil? It's up to you. Okay, this is the money that you borrow, either from your parents or friends, and that is the money that you invest in, save up at the beginning of a period. So which means if I draw the line chart, okay, remember when a person starts to learn this simple and compound interest, I always advise them, if you want to learn better, if you want to understand better, I suggest you use this called diagram, which I call this line chart. Okay, use line chart. Now, I find that many people, they don't like to use this line chart. Then I ask them why, They say very troublesome. I say, is it very troublesome? You just draw like that line chart. This marks your first period of beginning, period of investment. So let's say I give you 300, you start to save here. Let's call it 0 period. Start from here. Let's say 1st of January, right? Of course, you can start to save money any time. Maybe today, next week, not especially 1st of January, right? As long as the money you want to save, just go to the bank and open an account. So after that, how many of you haven't saved money before? Or go to the bank? Anyone? Yes, there are some. You just follow parents. They don't even have a bank account. But cannot be, right? Students must have a bank account, right? Otherwise, you cannot pay fees or refund and so on. So it shouldn't be that. So most of you have the basic knowledge. So if you save money, bank can give you dividend based on what? Different period, right? Dividend can be based on what? Day, can be based on what? Week, can be based on month. Month, not every month, can be based on what? Half yearly. Half yearly means 6 months. Can be based on what? Quarter. Remember last chapter we learned quarter. 1 quarter, how many months? 3 months, right? So you see, a dividend can be based on day, weekly, monthly, half yearly, quarterly, or annually. Annually means what? Annually means every year, right? So how many of you have saved money in the bank based on a few popular platforms? One of them is called FD. Have you heard about FD? Anyone don't know what's called FD? You can go back and ask your parents. Fixed deposit. This is the most popular one. Fixed deposit, the word here, fixed means you have to save, we call it until the fund mature. We call it mature. Mature means if you save 3 months, you must make sure the deposit reach 3 months. Then only you can take out the money. If you withdraw the money early, what happens? Burn off your dividend. Oh, okay. Fixed deposit usually lowest is 1 month. Then they give you 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 8 years also got. Of course, the longer period you invest, they give you higher dividend. Fine. You learn banking and finance, right? Why you save longer period, bank give you higher dividend? Why? You learn, right? Economy, business. Because the bank can use your money without any interruptions. If you save 1 year or 6 months, the bank can use your money, invest in other business, so you cannot touch. If you touch, your dividend burn. Of course, they have money to pay you back. So we come to you, no worry. Right? So this is some of the ideas you have to ask yourself. Bank and finance or whatever, they are always very smart because they also earn money. Right? If one person save 1 million, 10% 10 million, if 1,000 person save how much already? You see the amount of money. That's why you see the bank, the building so big, so tall, and they are always making, we call it legal money. legal money, not alone. So don't worry, because they always take our depositor money and invest for what? Because they need to grow their money also. When they grow their money, they use the money to pay for the staff salary, staff bonus, correct or not? So many workers who invest, they also need to earn salary. They have to pay salary for them. They have to pay for the bills and so on. Correct? Okay? So one of the platform which is very popular, FD, okay, unit trust. You know what's called unit trust? One of them is public bank, public mutual. I'm not sure whether you heard before. Public mutual. All these things are, if you're not sure, you can always check with your parents or relatives, those of them who invest before unit trust. Public mutual, home bank investment. There's so many types of unit trust. I'm not sure how you call it in Mandarin. Go check out now, okay? So there are so many platforms where the person can invest their money. Alright, we start from here. Upon maturity, maybe 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, you get a dividend. Okay, this is the general idea of a person. Take the principle. So this 300 is a principle. If you have more money, then you save 1,000. If you have ample money, let's say 5,000, you save 5,000. Of course, on top of that, upon maturity, you can add on. Let's say after 3 months, you got another 1,000, then you add on more. But upon maturity, if you don't mature yet, you want to top up or withdraw your dividend. Okay? All right, the number of time periods, the small n here, refer to how long you save the money. Okay? The amount of money being invested or borrowed. So this small n, as I said, can change with day, week, monthly. Monthly means 12 months, half yearly means 6 months, quarterly means 3 months, or annually 1 year. Right? So this is the number of time periods. Okay, the third one, rate of interest, or the I. Here I want to highlight, there are 2 I here. The big I is called interest. Big I, the small I is the rate of interest. What's the difference? Okay, from now on, I will mention small I and big I. Okay, I don't want to mention the word. You just keep your the words rate of interest is small I. What does that mean? It's the charge per time period for the use of the principal for given length of time. It is always expressed as a percentage rate. You always see the figure in percentage. For example, 6%. What does that mean? This is 0.06. This one, it doesn't matter. It can be per month, slash means per month, or it can be 0.6 slash per quarter, which means 3 months, or it can be 0.06 per 6 months, half yearly. So the period depends on the questions. What we want to take note is the rate of interest, in terms of the percentage number. If the question say 3%, which means it's 0.03. So again, you have to look at the question, whether is it per month, or per year, or per 6 months, and so on. So when we go to chapter 8b, next lecture especially, we have to be very careful with it, because we are talking about compound interest. So today we look at simple first, and then we'll touch compound a bit, right? Then I will let you see which one, what's the difference between simple and compound interest. Okay, now how about the big I? The big I is the money paid for the use of the dividend paid for the use of money. There are 2 basic types of interest commonly used. One is called simple, as I mentioned. The other one is compound. Okay, now the fifth symbol that we're going to use is called accrued amount, or we call it maturity value. This is the word I mentioned just now, mature. Future value. So these three words are the same. What does that mean? Okay, now let's say I save money here starting from today. Today is what? 11th of April. I save 1,000. Then I ask the bank, I want to save for 3 months. So 1, 2, 3. That means 3 months is, which month is that? July, right? Is it July? Is it July, everyone? April, May, June, July. I want to save 3 months. Okay, July, right? 11 July. So after 3 months, we get the dividend. So how much money your guests get? Let's say the bank give you 2% per yearly. 2% per yearly. Of course, we are going to calculate all this out. So I'll just give you the idea. The interest rate is your I. Remember the small I? Small I is the rate of interest they give you per year. Sometimes they can give you 3 months, 6 months. Example only, everyone. I want to get you have to get an idea first. So when you reach 3 months, July, you don't get the 1,000 back only, right? What do you get? You get the 1,000 plus what? Plus the dividend. Of course, you get back the money. You don't get back the money, you want to save money. You get back your, this is called principal, remember? This is called principal, one pokok. Plus the dividend. Dividend is 2% from your 1,000. This is per year, but you need to change for 3 months. So you divide by 12 times 3. Okay, later we learn all that. But some of you already know how to calculate. Fine. Okay. So this is called the pokok plus the dividend. This is called your SN. This is called your SN. Either we call it future value or your maturity value or accrued. So this must based on maturity. If you top up or withdraw earlier than July, what happened? Your dividend burn, but your one pokok still can get back. Right? So what attracts a person to save money? Dividend. Okay, anyone have any questions before I go to start with simple interest rate? All right, what's the difference between simple and compound? Okay, it is interest paid only on the principal, not on any past interest. See, simple interest only paid on the principal. The word here is only, highlight this word. For example, I saved 200. The bank or any fund give me 10% per annum. I see this word per annum means your 10% is 0.1. Okay, now 10% divided by 100, 0.1 per year. Okay, now this is the table to show the summary. Okay, let's say this is the first year I saved. To make it easier, I call this 1st of January 2022. Very simple. Can be any time you save. The bank will log in into their system. So after 1 year, which means if I draw the chart like this, is there any chart or no chart? Then never mind, you draw yourself. This is the 0 period. 1st of January 22. So after you save exactly 1 year or 12 months, we get how much? You save 200, right? This is your principal. So after 1 year, what's your interest? 20%. The 10% on 200 is 20. So this is your dividend. Of course, you save peanut, you get peanut. Have you heard this before? You simpan kacang, dapat kacang. You simpan emas, dapat emas. If you save 2 million, 7 digit, 7 6 0, right? 10%, how much is your dividend? That's why they say the rich getting richer. That's why you must save more to get more. Logic one. Very fair one. So this 20 ringgit is based on the 200. And after 1 year, as I said, you get back your 200, right? Plus the 20. So this is the accrual. Remember the SN? Yeah, the symbol we use SN. So remember all the symbol S. Okay. So next, you don't take out the money. You still have the 200 there, right? Okay, you stay with the bank. You save another 1 year. Second year already. 202. This is 2, 3, right? This is 2, 4. So here, the bank is very smart one. They only give you dividend based on 200, not 220. Suppose you get 220 already, right? Right? But the bank say, no, I only pay the interest on your principal. Even though you get 220, the 20, sorry, double bayar dividend. You take up, pergi makan KFC or whatever. Hey, that's why I mentioned 2 million, right? You will say, how much was dividend? 10%. 20,000. Take together 10% from 2 million, how much is your dividend? How much? 10% from 2 million. 20,000. 20,000 or 2,000. 10%. Guys, you know how to use, right? 2 million. 2 million, how many zero? 60, right? You times 10%. Dividend only, 200,000, right? Right? 10% from 2 million. 2 million you save times 10%. Yes, 200,000. So 10% from 2 million, right? 2 million, how many zero? 60. So how much? 200,000 now. This is your dividend, 200,000. You know how long to a person to save 200,000? Try and see that time. So the bank so smart. 200,000, they won't give you any dividend. When you go for second year, still based on 2 million, based on the 200. So you get back the same 20 ringgit. If the bank give you 10% from 200 plus the dividend, or especially those who save big one, you know how much they have to give you? Then some, right? The bank. That's called what? Compound interest. Later we learn that. That means you earn more money. One of them is EPF. You know what's called EPF? KWSP. Simpanan Hari Tua. That's why everybody happy to see that money. Bank, government just announced 6.1%. You can ask your parents also. Parents are working on, right? They have their EPF. Okay. So you get another 20 ringgit. Then you pass to 220, 240. Actually, so slow. Then third year, you save 1 more year. So that's already 2025. So 10% from 200, another 20 ringgit. You pass to 240, 260. So every year you grow only 20 ringgit. How long to get become millionaire? Right. So this is good or not? Simple interest. Of course, it's not good. Nobody want to save in any bank, any finance, which only gives simple interest, which is nowadays I don't see any longer offer. Anyone offers simple interest can go back already. Nobody want to invest. Okay, but I want to show you what is the difference between simple and compound. Okay, now this is the formula. Simple interest earned or charged after n periods. So I remember the big one. The dividend is given by principal times the I, the rate of interest, times the n period. So that is the money you get This is your SN. After 3 years, after 3 years, 3 years is your N, no? In this case, N is what? 3. I is, let's say, they give you maybe 5% per year. This is I. Principal is 200. So you can use this formula to get the I, the dividend after 3 years. Okay? And the total amount of money, accrued, remember SN, you must get your principal plus the dividend, remember? After you receive 3 years, you must get back your principal 200 now, plus the I. I can be found by this formula. So I go for second step, P plus I is also, since I is P and N, right? Then I can factor the P. You all know mathematics, I factor out the P. You know what's called factor? Take out the P. Then I have 1 plus IN. Okay, so the formula, if the question asks how much money, total amount of money, accrued amount of money that you earn after the 2 years or 3 years, okay, is given by SN, which is the principal times 1 plus IN, or you can quote this also can. Principal, you take back plus the total dividend. So the total money here, SN, which is given by P plus I. Alright. For simple interest only, guys, this is for simple interest. For compound interest, cannot use this formula already. So for simple interest, this is the formula. P times I times N. Okay, now here note the time period can be years. I mentioned just now, right? Can be quarters, can be months, can be weeks, can be days. Have you seen anyone save money based on day one? Bank can take one, I saw last time they say uncle, auntie, or they say in the bank for 20 days, for 50 days, can or special one. But I'm not sure now whether can or not. So maybe the old uncle, auntie, they want the money after 50 days, right? They take out then send money to the children to study and so on. Which is very troublesome now. But usually bank give for full either months or quarters or yearly one. So the interest rate I is the rate per time period. Example, rate per year, rate per quarter, maybe per month, blah blah blah. And then you must change your either decimal or fraction. For example, 5% means, as I mentioned just now, 5% means 0.05, which is 5 over 100. And this one either based on per year, quarter, or per month, and so on. Okay, you have to read the question carefully. Any question before you go on? So let's start to do some calculation here. All these are based on simple interest. Okay. If 1,000 is invested at 5%, simple interest, they mention the word simple interest. If they mention compound interest, later you learn the formula. Okay, make sure you read the question either simple or compound. Okay, now as I said, nowadays very popular compound interest, simple interest. I don't see any more of it because it's not very attractive. If your person is very wise, they won't invest in simple interest because it only pay the dividend based on your principal. Your dividend you keep also no earning one. What's the point? Right? Most people will go for compound interest. Okay, so this is the word here. Everyone take note. PA stands for what? Per annum. Highlight this up. Per annum means per year, means how many months? 12 months. Find the amount accrued after 5 years. Exactly 5 years. Okay. So what's the answer? Remember the accrued is your SN, right? Remember the formula? Principal plus dividend, right? That's your total money after 5 years. But I is what? PI. Okay. So we put inside here. We can factor out the P, 1 plus IN, remember? This is the formula here, factor out the P. So, say 1,000, this is your principal. I is 0.05, which is 5% per year, and it's 5 years. So what's your S5? 5 years means S5 plus N represent the number of years. So can someone calculate? I is 0.05 times N is 5. Okay, calculator. Plus 1 times 1000, that is 1250. So 1250, which means, guys, if I want you to tell me what is your dividend, extra money, right? Dividend is extra money you earn. 1250 minus the physical 1000, so the I is 2p, 50. If you don't believe that, guys, you take p times sin and n, you get back the same 250. Try and see. 1000 times 0.05 times 5. You get 250, right? Yeah. Oh. It's the same. Cannot run here. Next, find the simple interest. Find the I. If 200 invested, and then the total amount of money is 260. So invest 200, at the end get 260. What's your dividend? 60, right? You invest 200, you get 260, so 60 is your dividend, the BI. So how much is the interest rate offer? So 260, N is 3, principal is 200. So we use the I equal to N. So so 60 equal to 200 times your I times your N is 3 years. So what's the I here? 60 divided by 600, right? Which is 0.1. 0.1 here, this is not based on percent, right? How much percent it is? 10%. 0.1 is 10%. This is per year. Assume this per year. If the question say 3 months or 6 months are there, and that one be careful, you need to adjust really. Okay, the third one. Find the principal, find the P. If the bank give us 8%, wow, so high, simple interest per annum. So the I is small I, 0.3 per year, and 5 years. You get the money after 5 years, 2008. So there's a S6, right? Sorry, S5, 2008. Total amount of money you get. You start from here, after 5 years, you get here 2008. So how much is your principal? If the bank gives you 0.08 per year. So use this formula. Now you can use the line chart, everyone, to help you to understand. Later, when we learn compound interest, when the structure become more complicated, sometimes the interest rate can change one, right? Right? If you save 1 year, let's say 3 months, the bank suddenly change the interest rate. Wow, revise, we call it revise, up or down, doesn't matter. So the money you get will be affected. So that one will need the unchecked. Okay, so what is your P here? I is 0.08 times 5. How much? 2,000. One thing you have to note. Principal always less than final amount, correct? No? Because your final amount, principal plus dividend. If you calculate, suddenly you notice that your principal is more than your accrued amount. What happened? Is it possible? Not possible. Everybody after their money, right? If I consider my money getting less and less, I will question the bank, what are you doing? Everybody also getting less money. So take out money already, right? Okay, example 10. Can we through it quickly? How much will the investor have Half means the SN after 5 years, if you invest 1,000 at 10% per annum, so 0.1 per year, principal, and 5 years. So what is your S5? P 1 plus IN, fair enough? The formula. Okay, 1,500. For how long must be 6,000 saver for 9%, 0.09 per year to earn interest of 2025? This is the interest, the I, the big I. So we use which formula? Yeah, and now. Because we don't know the we know the principle. You can use the SN also can, but we use the PIN better. So this is your I, principal, interest, so you know the N. Now N is 2025 divided by 540, 3.75 years, which means 3 years and how many months? 0.75, 1 year, how many months? 12 months, right? So actually this one is 3 years and 9 months. Everyone okay? You know how to get 9 months? Times 0.7 times 12. Can. You see, I told you, right? Bank can give you, we call it period one, not necessarily 3 years or 3 months or 6 months. Can be 2 years, 5 months, 7 years, 2 months, can. But of course, the bank can prorate. We call it prorate. You know what's called prorate? If it's not full, they do the average. That's called prorate. Okay, so now everyone clear? Simple interest, very simple. The word simple means very simple. Okay, now compound interest. This is the one that everybody is looking forward. Very happy to see that. Some of the big fund like EPF, what else are unit trust. You know what's PNB? Amanah Saham. Have you heard about this Amanah Saham? All these are what form of unit trust. All these are based on what? Compound interest. As I said, if the fund don't provide compound interest, I think nobody will invest already. Okay, now you all see what's the difference. Okay, remember just now simple interest, the dividend only paid every time only on the principal, right? The interest they don't pay one. They keep the 20, they just roll over every time. It's the same. You have extra money, also no use one. They still pay you based on the 200 principal. How? That's why your money grow fast or grow slow. The money grow slow, grow slow. You know, for Chinese, they say, you plant the tree 20 years from now. Have you heard before? You heard before. You plant the tree, right, 20 years from now. Means what? You must start save money when you are small or old. Young, young, the voice for. Save the money during young, not during 50, 60 years old, borrow mouse in rate. So that's why Chinese for save, plant the tree 20 years from now. When you start working, plant the tree. Because the money grows very slow, especially for simple interest. You see, 20, of course you don't talk about 2 million. Right? You talk about maybe 2,000, you say 2,000. I see the money grow very slow. Because of simple interest. Now let's see what happened to compound. Are you ready? Okay. It is interest paid on both, you see. Principal also paid. Interest also paid. The previous interest also paid. Which means now you earn faster. So the money grow what? Faster. Who want the money grow faster? Everyone, right? Right, yeah. If you don't want your money grow faster, okay, give it to me. I help you to grow. I'm joking. For example, suppose that we use the same 200 invest 10%, but now compounded. annually. Okay, now this is the table. Remember just now we said 200, right? Year one. So after 1 year, 10% of 200, yes. First year you get 20 ringgit for dividend interest on. So what's your total money after 1 year? 200 plus 20. This one, okay, first year cannot compare, all is the same. But when you go to second year, they take your interest plus the dividend altogether, 220, and then they give you 10% based on 220, not on your 200. This is what both dividend and principal. 200, of course, I 100, right? So how much is your interest earned now? 22. Okay. Of course, you see, hey, lebih 2 ringgit saja. Again, this one, if you put 2 million, you see, 2 million different how much 2 ringgit here. You go and times on. This one we call it sikit-sikit lama-lama jadi. Don't look down of 2 ringgit. You change this to 2 million and see 2 ringgit different. How much is the difference? It's money, right? So the total interest now 220 plus 22 is 242. You see? Extra a bit already. And then third year, simpan third year. So now they use 242. They don't use 200. Give you 10% on 242 is 24 ringgit 20 cents. Then your total 242 plus 24.2 is 266.2. See, after 3 years, 266.2. This is based on compound. Just now how much? Simple. 260, right? Lebih berapa? 6 ringgit 60 sen. But again, this one is 2 million. You see how much is the difference? Go and change times. So what do I say? 103, 20 years from now. You get your money fast, 2 million, you save faster, and by the time you grow older, how much you earn? That's why the EPF, what's the EPF do? AWSP, right? What they do? They save the money for hari to earn. How long a person work? Average 30 years. You can check your parents how many years they work. By the time 25, work until 60, at least 30 years old, 30 years to work. So how much money the EPF will go? For graduate salary, starting, let's say 3,000 or 2,500, those of you work in bank or factory or company, 2,500 to 3,000. Of course, now pandemic, because of pandemic, salary, starting pay drop already. Engineer also suffer, computer scientists also drop, all salary drop because of pandemic. Hoping the economy will recover faster. By the time you all graduate, maybe go back to 3,000. Okay, so you work for 30 years, you know your EPF how much? Because of what? Compound interest. Government gives 6% every year, you know how much? Don't find out. Calculate yourself. 6%, a lot. Bank now give how many percent? 1.5, 1.8, 2%. If you save longer, what they say, the bank give you higher. Why? Because they use the money to save. Okay? But if you want to save 1-2 months, 1.5% compared to EPF 6.1%. Two things. Save as fast as you can, as much as you can. Second thing, go for the higher interest rate. That's the only two things. For a layman term, a person who, how do you call it, employee one. Yes, this is the two things that you can follow. Unless you are doing business, doing business is different story. Okay? Alright, this is tips for survival. Okay, now let's start the formula for simple interest is what? Sn equal to P times I, R1 plus In, right? Right, where the I is P and N now. See, the formula is P times I times N multiply N. But for compound interest, you see the formula? The total amount of money, if you see based on the compound interest, Sn is P times 1 plus I. You see the here, this is what? Power of N. Okay, now I ask everyone, power of N grow faster or times N grow faster? Okay, mathematics. 2 times 3, let's say N is 3, N is 3, 2 times 3 is what? 6. If I take 2 power 3, which one is more? Let's say your N is 3. This is times, based on simple interest times. Simple interest is time, P times I times N. So if I take the N is 3 years, let's say, example, I take 2 times 3 is what? 6 years. 2 is the regular. If I take 2 power 3, I get 8. So which one go faster? Of course, power, right? If your N is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 power 5 is 30. Ooh. Oh. Why? Because your graph is like that. One grow like this, another grow like this. Have you learned the curve exponential? This one is based on what? Compound interest, because the power is grow faster. This one is based on what? Simple interest grow slower. The concept is there, power of N. So everybody, it's fun, choose the compound. I think nowadays all compound already. Those banks will still charge simple interest, no business. Okay, same thing for the dividend. We know that Sn is equal to P plus I, right? So to find the I, we can take Sn minus P, or bring over here minus. Okay, can we do the example 11 now? I give you 1 minute to do that before I continue. Okay, 1,000 less than 5% compound. You see the question must mention either simple or compound. This per annum, find the total money you get after 5 years. So you want to draw the check hand from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and after 5 years, how much money you get? If you don't take out the money, assume that you don't withdraw. Withdraw means take out money, right? So let's say this is your I is 0.05 per year. 5 years, you see, principal 1,000. So what's the formula? It's 1. P times 1 plus I power of N. So what's the answer? Can somebody just quote the power of 5? Yes, any answer? 1, 2, 7, 6. 1, 2, 7, 6. 1 to 8. So what's your dividend? 276 ringgit you earn. If you use the simple interest formula, you calculate, see how much you can. This is how you do comparison. Okay? Everybody want more money? Alright, principal amount that should be invested, find out. If 8% per annum compound, if you wish to get 2,008. So this is the money you get. This is the Sn. Wish to get means the total amount, 2,008 after 5 years. So what formula we use? Same one. 500 per year, 2,008 is your S5. Same for 5 years. So what is your principal? Sn divided by this 1 plus 0.08 power of n. Now, which you will know this calculator. See, our principal always lesser than total. What do you get? 1905. 1905.63. Remember, our principal always lesser than total amount. Okay, the C. Find the compound interest rate. The I, small I. If you say 200, and then you get 260, this is the accrued at the end of 3 years. So let's say if I want to draw the line chart, start from here, 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. After 3 years, you get 260, but you start with 200. So what's the I here? So you can use this up again. Now for compound interest, we cannot use the I equal to PIN. That one is only for simple. So for compound interest, only one formula. Balik, only one formula. So your I. One plus I power of 3. Okay, now some of you may need to ask how to find the I here. 260 divided by 200, how much? 1.3 here. So I take here, I divide up 1 plus I power 3 is equal to 1.3, right? 260 divided by 200. So how to find the I? Anyone don't know how to use calculator here? When you start to use log. Those of you who learn MS, right? You learn MS, also many of you never learn MS, so you start to panic. What's log? You see a calculator for log. No need log. Why you need log? I ask you, 2 power 3, everyone. Can we do some mathematics here? 2 power 3 equal to 8. What's your, how do you get 3 here? 2 power 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, 8, right? If I don't want the 3 here, what do you do? What do you do with the 8? If I don't want to write 3 here, what do you do with the 8? Power what? 1 over 3 now. What do you call this? Cube. Root, right? If power 2 is square root of. If power 3, cube root of. So I don't want the 3 here, what do you do? No need to use log now. Then I ask some people, what you panic? If they want to know, you take the cube root. 1.3 or 1 over 3, what do you get? Make sure you know how to use calculator. 1.3 power of 1 over 3. What do you get? 1.091. Then you minus 1. 0.091. Okay? 0.0914. Anyone look at this? Use your bracket calculator, power of 1 over 3. Anyone look at that? Chen, correct. Cube root. This is called cube root, Chen. Everyone, this is called cube root. Anybody get this? 0.0914. Make sure you use calculator, power of 1 over 3. Okay? Balik. Those of you who don't know, cannot get it, you can ask now. Exam time cannot ask already, or you can ask your tutor. Which is 9.14%, 9.14% per year. Now we are talking about all this per year. Let's talk about all this per annum. Later, as I said, the interest rate can be given with any percentage amount, and also the length of the period can be monthly, can be what? Half yearly, quarterly, that one, second part, you have to change already. Right now, you see all this example, we assume is based on what? Per year. Per year. So you want to say for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, easy lah. Just use the formula. Okay? Can? Anyone cannot digest, cannot follow, you let me know now. Anyway, still have to digest, right? Okay. Alright, example chart. These type of questions always be tested in exam. Not the simple one like this, you see? Always a simple one. This is for practice to make sure you recognize with the formula, how to find BI, how to the small interest rate, how to find principal, how to find the N, how to find the total amount. Okay, done. Then we go to the challenging questions. Let's read through. If an investor say, well, 3,000 to a bank, let us say, here, this is your principal. It is principal. Which case, the on interest, this one per year. And was your money for much. Except here, that means for one time and okay, guys at home, can you see my screen now? I haven't shared the screen. where we oh. Alright, I have to use my data plan here. So we meet again, guys. I hope the technical issue. Right. I hope we can go on after this. Hopefully smooth. Alright. So here go back to this example. You can see the screen here. Okay. So this is the 1 year 8%, but save for 2 years. So how much you earn already? So this is the picture. See, I always advise people, if you have a complicated question, something like this, you have to start to draw, learn. A lot of people, they don't want to use this because they find it very difficult to draw. I say, what's so difficult? English sentence, if you read, understand, you draw. Starting from 0, 1, 2 years. And then at the end of the 2 years, he withdraw how much? Withdraw means minus. Can you see minus? Minus means he take out money. So what could be the balance in his account after 4 years? After another 2 years, how much money? SM, remember? SM is the total money left after 4 years. After take out 2 years, 1,000. How much he saved? 3,000. So after 2 years, how much money he get here? 3,000 plus the dividend. Am I right? Sure got dividend, because you save 1 year 8%, 2 years no dividend, you want to save money. So the money should be more than 3,000. And then you minus 1,000. So that's the balance. That's the balance of money you save for another 2 years, which is also give 8%. So how much at the end here? Now you understand? Do you think the picture can help us? Yes, use the picture to help you. So let's cover 3,000 invested for 2 years, 8%. So what do you do? 3,000 times 1.08 square. You know how to get this? P times 1 plus I is what? 0.08. Then you power off 1 plus 0.08, 1.08, then power n, right? 1 power 2 because still for 2 years. So that is your 3,499. 3,000 plus your dividend. Dividend is 499, right? Not? Then you minus 1,000 here, 2,499. Then you save for another. It's 2,499. Remember, you save for another 2 years, which is 8%. Okay. So 2,499 times 1.08 power 2. Again, we use this formula. P times 1 plus I power n. Your P now is what? 2,499. Fair enough. After you minus 1,000. So that's a principle already. Times 1.08 power 2. This is the money you get after 2 years. Okay? So I hope you understand the concept. Okay, now we go for one more. Changes in the rate of interest. Listen carefully. Now, there might be change of interest during the period of an investment, especially those who use compounding. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say you save for 3 years. Let's say the bank say, oh, you want to save 3 years. I can revise the interest rate. Revise means what? Changes. Revise means can go up, can go down. So if the economy bad, what happens? Interest rate go down. If the economy is good, everybody happy. I give you more, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. You know what I mean now? Economy, always go around the mirror. So, you see, let's say the bank, okay, you want to save 3 years, okay, the first 1 year I give you 5%. First 1 year. Next year, economy not so good, I give you 3%. Next year, another year, oh, economy so, I give you 2%. Usually, short period, no changes. If you save for 3 months, 6 months, okay. But if you save for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, usually cannot hit them. Because who can guarantee the bank can give you 8% for 10 years? Cannot. I don't think so. If you save for a long period, there's no guarantee the interest rate will remain the same. Never. Bank also do business. They are very smart. Economy bad, they revise down, they will tell you, they write to you, or they will offer the package to tell you first. Anytime they can revise. So what's the best thing for customer or like us to do? Save, not too long, not too short. We save for medium. Don't save for long-term investment. Save for medium, maybe starting from 6 months to 2 years or 3 years like that. Or try not to save 10 years, 20 years. No such thing. No guarantee. Okay, so this is the formula, you see. Our formula is, just now what's the formula? Sn is P times 1 plus I, right? Or N, right? This is based on one interest rate. I is one interest rate. Assume that the whole period, I no change. But now, you see, Sn equal to P, still the same principle. We save the principle here. See the change 1 plus I1. I1 means the first N1 period. Apply in the first period, which is I1. Then, when you go to second year or second period, N2, your interest rate becomes I2. And then when you go to third year, N3, your interest rate becomes I3. So if I want to continue I write here 1 plus 1, I3, N3. Then 1 plus I1, N1, 1 plus I2, N2, 1 plus I3, N3. Then next one, 1 plus I4, N4, right? And you do until 1 plus IK and K. So IK refer to the K, and K refer to the period. So you see, your formula changed already from this. Okay, one example. This is the interesting one. Seldom people can answer correctly, but if you understand the questions, you know the formula, you can solve. Okay, let's do it together. 8,000 invested now. This is a line. You see, if you don't draw a line, I can't see how you understand the question. I tell people, you don't draw the line, you can answer the question, which means you understand. But the line will help you to picture everything. To earn compound interest of 10% per annum, 0.1, 10%. For how long? 3 years. So you see, this is your time start from 0, right? You save principal 8,000. You save for how long? 3 years. So 2, you get that one. So your N1 is how long? 3 years for 10%. This is your N1. Understand it? Okay. Then save for another 2 years. Because at the end of 5 years, so 3 years and another 2 years. And these 2 years, what's your interest rate? Revised down from 10% to 8%. You see, maybe economy better, or the bank or not doing well. You know Amanah Saham? Amanah Saham. You see EPF last year 5.25%. Why this year 6.1%? Because maybe they invest, EPF earn money, right? Economy good, they invest outside, earn money, they give more to the shareholder. So maybe this fund not doing well, drop to 8% for 2 years, N2 is 0.8. So how much money you earn here? This is a formula, Sn equal to P. You see, remember this formula? It doesn't matter how many years are N1, N2, it depends on the I1, I2. So here, 1 plus I1, N1 times 1 plus I2, N2 is 8,000. I1 is 0.1. So 1 plus 0 plus 1 power n minus 3 times 1 plus 0 plus 3 power of 2. Okay now? So 12,409. So how much here? Minus 6,000 is about 4,419. Okay? If you see that the bank revised down, then you lost a bit. If the bank revised up, wow, happy. At least you still get 8% more than EPF money. Alright, now, one thing, if you see that any fund offer 20% so high, how do you think? Have you heard about lesson in investment? If you find that any fund or whatever, this is true one, give you very high interest rate, 15 to 20 or 25%. Do you want to invest? Careful, this may not be true. They call it Ponzi scheme. It's fake one. Therefore, they may use your money and jabot. So far, the highest is around 10 to 15%. That was many years ago. Now, EPF last time can give up to about 10%. Now also 6%, 5%. No such fund can give you 15 to 20%. They want to attract people and invest. So be careful, everyone. In future, whatever, don't have to be careful first. Check the background of the company or fund before you invest. All. Otherwise, your hard-earned money. Bye-bye. Don't get be cheated by the high interest rate. A lot of lesson already is a true one come out in the newspaper and so on. That's called Ponzi scheme or whatever scheme. Scandal, they call it. Okay, next B. Can you calculate for me? Pictures with the other calculation below. Investor puts 10,000 for 10 years. See, 10 years. The annual rate of compound interest is 50% for the first 4 years. First 4 years means here to here. 50% is what? 0.15. For how long? N1. N1 is for. After that, 12% for the next 4. Another 4, so 8 already. How many? 12%. 0.12. Your N2 is 4 also. And the last 2 years, 9%. Wow, less and less and less. So far, from my experience, very seldom go up one. Go down other one. Who want to give more, right? Actually, right? So you have to be very smart. Be careful. Now everyone active again. All the fund active again. You know why? After 2 years, MCO very slow. Everything quiet. No investment offer here and there. Wow, after open everything, wow, everybody aggressive again. Show this campaign, this promotion, so what do you call that? Attract people already. So be careful. Don't get people. Alright, how much money we earn here? Can someone calculate? So what's the principal? How much? See? 10,000. 10,000 is the principal. So you know what to do? 1 plus 0.15 power 4 times 1 plus 0.12 power 4 times 1 plus 0.09 power of 2. Answer? 326. 697. 0.64. See the answer from the 32697.64. Okay. Okay, man. Any questions from anyone? Okay, I go on now. Another important calculation here. Effective annual rate. We call this year, EAR. Now, annual, you all know, right? Annual means what? 1 year per annum. We call it annum per year. Effective. Here, I want to explain to you first, then I want to give you all advice. The stated interest rate per annum is called nominal rate. Nominal is actually per year. When interest is compounded at shorter intervals, such as semi. Now, can you take note now? We are going to enter investment based on different period, usually shorter. We call it starting from semi-annual. Now, semi-annual means 6 months, right? One annual means 12 months. Semi means 6 months, right? I mentioned before, you can say 6 months, or you can say quarterly. Quarterly means 3 months. Or those of you, seriously, you never heard about FD? FD, what you call in Mandarin? 定期 Go and ask your parents. Very popular one. Monthly, daily. All these are different shorter period. So the annual interest rate, now because of the shorter period, but when you want to calculate EAR, EAR always based on an annual one. So whether you say for 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, and when you want to calculate the annual rate, or we call it actually paid or earned. So we have to call this as effective annual rate. So the word here, effective, is calculated based on 1 year. Even though the end, remember the end can be shorter intervals, 6 months or 3 months and so on. Right? Now the EAR reflects the impact of compounding. Listen carefully, compounding frequency, whereas the nominal rate does not. So nominal rate always based on 1 year, but effective annual rate always will calculate based on 1 year, and even though the end period is shorter. So that's the difference between nominal rate and effective interest rate. Okay, now thus the EAR always will be greater than nominal rate. Can you have EAR always greater than nominal rate? Because nominal rate is always for 1 year, but the EAR, the impact depends on the compounding. Okay, now listen carefully. You see this small table here? This is called period of compounding. This is how many times the interest rate compound. Okay, I start with one chart here. I hope you can follow. Now this is 0. This is period. Now remember, period can be day, month, quarterly, and so on. Okay, now I start with annually. Easiest one. Annually means 1 year, right? Period of compounding means 1 year. So if I save for 1 year, then senang lah. From kosong sampai 1. This is based on 1 year. So how many times can compound? 1 time, because it's only 1 year. Okay, our standard interest rate always per year 1. But again, the bank can allow you to save for 3 months, 1 month, 6 months. Because of that, you need to find the effective annual rate. Okay, so let's learn. If your question mentioned annually, how many times here means your n? Remember the small n? Yeah, listen carefully. I don't want to get confused on everyone. So if I take 1 year, so how many times I can compound? 1 kali. So your n is what? 1. Sorry. N here is 1. So I put here n equal to what? How many times compound? Simple. Okay. Next, if the question said compound semi-annual, the question will tell you whether compound annually or semi or quarterly. They will tell you they have to tell you, otherwise you cannot find your n and your I. Okay, if your Question say semi-annually. So your period here is no longer, this is year, for the first one is year. For the second one, the period is what? 6 months. No longer year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. This is called month. And then here should be what? 12. Is it 12? Why 12? Because 1 year now. So this is called semi-annually. How many times compound? Subtotally? 6 months subtotally compound. Another 6 months subtotally compound. So how many times? So your n is what? 2 already. Times 2 of 1 year. Look at it. If I say for 2 years, how many already? Times 2, proper? 4 times. Because 1 year, look at it compound. Another 1 year, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 2. Times 2 of equal 1 times 2. Anyone understand? Back to this one, the 1 year, compound 1 time. Kalau 2 tahun, dapat 2. Okay, 1 and 1, 2 times. Okay, quarterly. Quarterly is, this is what I write here, 6 months, semi-annual means 6 months. Can you draw the chart? Learn to draw. Quarterly means 0 to 3. 3 months, 1 time jump. Then another 3 months, that means January, February, March, 1 jump. April, May, June, another jump. July, August, September, another jump. October, November, December, another jump. So 1 year, how many times? 4 times. So times 4. In 2 years, 8 times a year, 4 and 4. Understand? If I say for 10 years, how many times you jump? Every 3 months, bank give you dividend. 3 months give you dividend. 3 months give you dividend. So you say for 10 years, how many times bank will give you? Provided you don't withdraw money. This is what people save in FD. They save for 1 month, or 6 months, or 3 months, or 1 month also can. 1 month means monthly. So how many months? 12 months. The bank every month give you dividend if you don't withdraw money. And how many times the compound? 12 times. Can you draw the one chart yourself? So darab 12. Kalau 2 tahun, 24. So kalau daily, as I said just now, you see uncle auntie they save money based on daily one. After 20 days, they take out money already. Then the bank officer say, uncle auntie, sit down here, I explain to you, you want to take out 20 days, fill out this form, blah, 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 blah. Yes, they do like that. So how many days here? 365. You will have 365 days times per day, per year. We seldom have question talk about 365 days. Usually talk about money quarterly or semi and annual. Alright, these are the popular ones. This is based on N. How about the interest rate at I? Remember our I, let's say 0.06% per year, right? This is based on 1 year. If I based on semi, based on quarterly, what happens to the I? Change also. Because the N change already, right? The I also will change. Can I show you all first how to change? Okay. Let's say based on this, later we go to this topic as well. Let's say I use 6% per year. Since you are in this box already, I explain to you. If I have annually, no problem, because 1 year. If I talk about semi-annual, what happens to your I? your n times 2, right? What happens to your I? Semi-annual, your I have to divide by 2, which is 0.03 now. And here you cannot write per year or year. This one is per year now. This one is divided by 6 months or half yearly. Anyone don't follow? I let you know first up so that later easier. Remember, if quarterly, your n times 4, because you compound 1 year, 4 times every 3 months. So what happens to your I? You can say 6% per year, but compounding quarterly. What's your I now? 0.06 divided by 3. Now you cannot say year, you must write what? Quarter. And if I have compounding monthly, what's your I? Your n times 12, because 1 year, okay, you draw the chart yourself. 0 to 12, every month compound 1 time. Until 12, so we compound 12, right? Times 12 now. If my I divided by 12 per year, this is per month, not per year. Okay, yes. Oh, 4 months, right? Sorry, 4 times 4. You all right here divided by 3, sorry, 4. 7 times 4 divided by 4. Okay, twice times 2 divided by 2. Once times 1 divided by 1, no? Monthly, your n times 12, so your I divided by 12. Yeah, so this one is divided by 4. Right? If you have daily, wow, you divide by 365 days because of 1 year. So as I said, not very popular. So see, I write here per year, this per 6 months, this is per quarter, this is per month, can. Alright, now everyone clear with this box? Okay, next, let's do some questions. Then we take a few minutes break. Now, let's calculate the EAR. Remember, can you calculate the EAR here? Now, EAR is based on annual. Annual. Nominal rate is also based for 1 year. So usually EAR will be bigger than nominal rate. EAR usually bigger than nominal rate. Oh, okay, now let's look at this question. Suppose the nominal rate is 10%. Now, nominal rate here is per 1 year. When you see the word nominal rate means 1 year, but the interest is being compounded 6 months. See, compounded 6 months. 6 months, what is your I? Divided by 6. No, divided by 2. Divided by 2. Okay, if the investment is 200, this is your principal. Find the total of money after 1 year. After 1 year, so you want to draw the line chart, can? 6 months, compound 1 time. So you want to save for 1 year, right? So you have another 12 months, 6 months here. Altogether 12 months, 1 year, compound twice. So the annual interest rate, remember, annual is nominal, which is 10%. 0.1. Anyone do understand? Okay, next, the 6 month interest rate. What did I say? The I have to divide by 2. Where is the semi-annual? Divide by 2, 6 months. So 10% divided by 2. You see right here, 10% divided by 2. You get 5% now, which is 0.05 per 6 months. Okay, per 6 months slash 6 months. Hey, do you learn this in banking and finance subject? You think banking and finance subject? No. Only the banking and finance student. I thought you all take the same first year, take the same paper. No. Then you all never learn simple interest. So you all know how to calculate money. Then I can cheat you already. No, I'm joking. How you learn? This is only the fundamental of it. If you learn this, this is only to protect you at least some percentage of knowledge. Later you want to be smart, you know how to invest, you want to check this, check that, analyze this, analyze that. Mind wait until you graduate. The age grow older, smarter, more knowledge. Okay? Alright, so after 1 year, how much money he get? Remember the formula? P times 1 plus I for N. Remember the formula? P is 200, say 200. So 1 plus I. The I is 0.05 already, then your N is what? 2, you see? Times 2 now. That's twice per year. So the N is 2. So you get 220.50. Amount of interest gain. So you save 200, you get 220, right? So how much your interest? Minus what? You get 20.50. You use that dividend to calculate your EAR. EAR is the interest divided by the 200. On EAR, this is how you calculate. The dividend you get, interest divided by the deposit, the principal, times 100, which is 10.25. Now here, not 10%. Let's say the bank, I don't want to mention the bank name. Let's say bank X or bank Y. They say, oh, come invest in my bank. I have one product, give you 10% annual. And then you calculate the EL is 10.25, which is what? More than, right? So are you going to invest? Yes. Why? More than 10%. The annual rate, it says per year. This is the nominal rate per year is 10%. But in the effective, see the word effective. Now, when you go to anywhere, right, you get a brochure. You know what's called brochure? They put a big interest rate, 5%, 8%. Be careful, don't look at that. You must look at the effective. Usually at the bottom of the brochure, what do you see? The small one, subject to what? Condition and approval. That one tell you what? Whatever you invest, subject to what? Risk. Careful, because the effective can be higher, can be lower. But if this one 10.25 is more than 10%, which is better, isn't it? It's safer. Usually, do you think it's higher than 10%? I don't think so. Maybe 9% or 8% something. So that means you have to be very careful really. You don't just look at the interest rate, big one they write there on the brochure paper. Be careful. That's why I mentioned, right? If the fund say, invest 15%, 20%, can you believe or not? No. 15 to 20%, so far in history, EPF also cannot afford to pay that. EPF is one of the largest fund in the world. You know how much money in EPF? A few hundred billion. One of the largest fund in the world, comparable to US and China and so on. So they cannot afford even 15 to 20%. If suddenly a bank X tell you, invest, I give you 20%, do you want to believe it? How is your money? The effective one maybe only 5 to 6%. They say subject to condition and risk. You invest, you have to take the risk. What people say? No pain, no gain. Everything also got risk one. You cannot blame me now. You put the money inside here, I tell you, at that time it's good, but after that economy very bad. Oh, sorry. But you play stock market, tell you, oh, very good, stop, you play, oh, buy. After that, oh, something happened, this one, that one, then you cannot blame me, I cannot control, it's out of my control. So what happened? What are you going to blame? Okay, so the EAR actually is given by this formula. 1 plus I tau n minus 1. So this is the formula to calculate EAR based on 1 year of everyone. Okay, I is the interest rate per period. Again, can be compound, subject to compound. But just now we see divided by 2 or divided by 4. The n is the number of equal compounding periods in 1 year. Okay, always measure in 1 year. So if you're compounding half yearly, your n have to times 2. If compounding quarterly, your n have to times 4. This one. If monthly, your n have to times 12. I also for divided by 2, divided by 4, divided by 12. Okay, let's do one calculation here. Then we go for a short break. $100 subject to interest at 12% compounded quarterly. So what's the I here? 0.12 divided by what? Divided by 4, which is what? 0.03 per quarter. What's the accrued money after 2 years? Can someone calculate? It's already here. See? 0.33 per quarter. So see your n. 1 year, how many times? 4 times, right? But 2 years, this is say for how long? 2 years. 1 year, you see this one? 1 year is 4 times, right? Quarterly. So 2 years means times 4. 8 already, 4 times 2 become 8 already. Can everyone see? This is called 8 quarter, not 8 month, because we talk about quarter here. This one quarter, this one also quarter. The I and the N must be same unit. So what's your total? You can draw the chart yourself, right? So P times 1 plus I 0.03 power of 8. See the N is 8, so this is the money we have. Understand? This is based for 2 years. But EAR is calculated for how long? And no. So if the finance company say, wow, 22%, so high, nominal interest. Wow, I want to know which finance company give 22%. They say, in Chinese they call it tatat, or say 22%. Impossible. Possible, but unlikely. Compounded money divided by 12. So your EL, remember this formula? 1 plus your I divided by 12. And then what's your N? 12, because 1 year, EL is always for 1 year. So what's your N? 12. Remember this one? Annually, your N is always 1, but you have to times. Sorry, semi-annual, right? Is it semi-annual? Oh, money divided by 12, so times 12. Here, money. Here, 12. See, 12 times per year. Here, N minus 1, calculator, you get 0.24%. So the EL is always more than nominal rate, correct? Nominal rate is 22%, while your EAR is 24%. Remember this one? EAR always more than nominal. Okay, but what is the Classy? Now, never mind, go to Classy first. The company will spend 300,000 on a new plant in 2 years from now. Currently, the investment rate are nominal at 10%. How much should the company invest if the interest rate is compounded 6 monthly? So let's answer this one first. 6 monthly means your I is 10%. Can someone calculate this? What's your I now? Nominal rate 10%, right? So you need to divide by 6. Sorry, divide by 2. So the I is 10%, which is 0.1 divided by 2. This is for what? 6 months, yeah. 6 months, which is 0.05 per 6 months. Remember? Okay, so you want to calculate what? How much should we invest? Calculate the P there. If the interest rate is compounded 6 months, save for how long? 2 years. You see, 2 years from now. Which means spend 300,000. That means they need the money after 2 years, 300,000. Therefore, 300,000 is not the principal. This fund, how much you should invest, that is the principal. That's why I asked you to draw, not to draw. So start from here. 6 months, 12 months, another 6 months, what? 18 months, another 6 months is 24 months. 24 months means 2 years already. So they want to get 300,000 here. Fair enough. They want to get 300,000 here. So how much money they have to invest? This is your key. If the interest rate is 0.05 for every 6 months. So how many times it compound? 1 time, 2 times, for 1 year, then another 1 year, 3 and 4. Correct? So what's the end here? N is how much? 2 times? 2 times 2, yes. 1 year times 2 months. 2 years times 2. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 for 6 months. So how much money do you have to invest? S equal to P times 1 plus I power N. So S is what? 300,000. Your P is what? Okay, then here 1 plus I is 0.05. 0.05. This is for how long? 6 months, Then N is what? 4, right? Is it N is 4? Okay, can someone calculate the P? How much? Sorry? 24681. Principal always less than accrued. Everyone get 2468 those at home? Can so I hope you all know how to calculate the N, the I, divided by what, times what, the N. So that is the money you have to save. What is the EAR here? EAR, the formula is what? 1 plus I or N minus 1. So what is your I here? 0.05, right? This is for 6 months. What's your M here? 2. Because ER always mentioned for 1 year. And so your 1 year compound how many times? 6 months, 2 times off? Or 2 minus 1. What's the answer? 10.25%. 10.25%, and your nominal rate is actually 10%. Yes, correct. EAR must more than nominal rate. So if you want to safely invest, you look at what? Effective annual rate. Okay. Sometimes the EAR can be very tricky one. So that one will be later. Okay, that will finish our first part of chapter 8. As I said, the progression, maybe your tutor will help you, or I can just quickly go through it next week or later. Right now, Okay, any questions before I? Oh, today no break also. Okay, next week's our last the tutorial for chapter 7B, so 8B. Okay, I hope your tutor can finish your all discussion tutorial. Did he discuss one by one question? No, he asked which question you don't know. For my group, all we discuss one by one question. Why no time? Because I also finished discuss one by one. Do you do it on the Jamboard link? Do you share the Jamboard link or not? No. Do you present the Jamboard link? No.
So,
How we present on the board? Oh, tell me, yeah. Tell me like this time. Oh, OneNote. Okay, never mind. I hope you can finish discuss as many questions as you can, because especially this topic, a lot of tutorial question now. Okay, for this progression and arithmetic, I will come back again next week. I will form it out. So when you do your question, you start with simple interest. Unless your tutor want to go through with this progression, go ahead, right? As I said, now this is a starting concept, because we use this progression to help you to understand how to find compound and simple interest, right? Those of you who never learn, never mind. Okay, this one we don't emphasize, but I will still come back next week. Now, right now, before I start, actually there's one I want to discuss about the assignment questions, because points there's one or two students, because let me explain to you. Okay, can I share this screen with you? Here, let me just scroll down. So far, all assignment already done, right? Okay, I think everybody tutors already share the marks. As I said, all groups doing well in this assignment. Some of them get full marks. Okay. And overall, this possible mark already raised up because of the assignment. As I said, is important. So those are all group do well. Now, let me explain to you a bit. This one part. I share with you first. Okay. You see this screen, right? Okay, I will stop the recording first. Okay, now the question actually part A here, these are two related ones. Okay, most group, okay lah. Now see, this question say this one PPV. Now I'm talking about this COVID now, right? So they are talking about this mega PPV at Bukit Jalil. There are a few thousand and many people waiting there. So let's say this is the center. Now there are so many crowd there. We take this N. Remember what's N? Total group of data. Number of data. Okay, now because there are so many people here, we have to take 150. Now this selected here doesn't mean as a sample, because I say there are so, it could be a few 100,000 there, 20,000, right, or 10,000. So we cannot afford to take that as a N. This N is what? Remember how we define the N? Number of data, not the sample. The question can mention selected, or they can mention obtain, or they can say can get. All these are meaning what? Out of this crowd, you take 150 as your citizens to what? Find the, remember the CI? What's the CI formula? X bar plus minus sigma over what? Is that right? Z alpha over 2 times sigma over so N, correct? This is your N. N is not sample. N is what? Number of data. Remember this formula? N is never a sample. The question is just mentioned selected. Doesn't mean it's a sample. It's from the crowd. N is your number of data. Total number of data. So most of you get it correct. But when you go for part 2, you want to test hypothesis, right? Your hypothesis is based on what? proportion. Where's the proportion here? This is the P naught. Right now. So remember, you have to find P naught, you have to find the P hat. Everybody measure the P hat. What's the formula for P hat? X over N. Oh, I hope by right now everyone get ready because your exam in 2 weeks' time. So see, this N is your N. Huh? What's your X? Sample. Remember? Sample. Oh, 150. You no longer take the 3,000 here. You already select this 150 as our N. So this N is the same as the N. So what's the X? See, sample 40 actually from the 150 already. That's your impact. That's all. The rest you know to do. Define your H1 and H1. Okay, everyone? I think all groups do correct. Unless discussions among yourself. Alright? Okay, so I hope this time you clear everything. So that's all for your last classwork. Okay, you get your marks after your tutor finalized. Alright, any more questions from anyone? Okay, so I will see you next week. Last lecture, chapter 80. After that, I hope we can finish our last tutorial for all the other schools. We don't have time to do revision for sure. Also, I hope, as I mentioned many times, you group study, you still have your own group, right? Do passive revision as much as you can. Alright, okay, so that's all. I see you. Group 2, give me 15 minutes, or I will go to gear block and find the venue. Okay, bye bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
Yes, alright, welcome, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Sir.
welcome. Yes.
The P should be the proportion of citizen that took at least 30 minutes to queue, right?
There was a question only 30 to 50 H1.
Yeah, so you see, the P should be the proportion of citizen that took at least 30 minutes to queue.
It's related,
So
the question is related.
Yeah, I know, I know it's related, but the problem is the question. You see, the question collected random sample of 40 citizens. They didn't mention 40 citizens is like
the
like
question just
40 citizens
the
took at
question
least.
just say 30 minutes. It's related lah. 55% is related one. As I say, so you don't worry about the 30 minutes.
Yeah, but
like you see the each
like
30 to 51 are also not related one. It's just an extra one. So don't interpret only. The N is 150. So this extra involved 30 to 50 years old, 30 minutes, so that you don't see one, you just look at the 55% at the PHET. That's all. Okay. So let's say in the question whatever they give extra, those extra one you don't see one. Just follow what is your confidence interval. You know, PHET, your sigma, your X bar, and your Z score. So other than that, don't see one. Yeah?
Yeah, sir, but don't you think like the question itself has problem interpreting? So the random sample of 40 citizens, they didn't mention anything about 40 citizens took at least 30 minutes.
This is a sample, right? What's your N?
Yeah, you see, that's the problem, right?
It's related to
the random sample
is
is 40.
Right?
So yeah, it naturally comes to my mind that 40 is N.
From the N there.
Yeah, the 40 is N. The 40 should be N, right? Then the X. Yeah, that's the problem. The question doesn't give X, right?
X. X is a sample. So what's your N? It's already from there.
No. If the 40 is X, right, that should be the question should mention 40 citizens took at least 30 minutes to queue, right?
Oh, you mean the part A?
Yeah, but no. I mean
part B is
A
extra information given here. See, the part B, this 30 minutes is the extra information. N is 150. Now 40 is extra. What's your N? N must be from here. So out of this 150, they select another 40 to conduct this proportion. Simple
So
as
I
that.
think-
Don't look at the 30 minutes, don't look at the age, all these are not important one. Huh? Okay, go through again. So in exam question, be careful. Just look at the X bar, Z, sigma, your N, P0 and P hat. The rest, not important. These are all sentences only. Sentences can be given anything. What you want is only this few things to calculate. And then your formula for Z alpha. Right? So you don't need 30 minutes, the age one, all not important. You only need these few things. Correct or not? Can you get your name now? Huh?
No, I think you misunderstood me. But anyways, I'm still not convinced that 40 is the X lah. So, anyways, there's
If you're
only
not
one
X
answer.
sample, then what's your X? If you say N is 150, what's your X?
Yeah. That's the problem, right? I can't find
this is
X
your
because the
sample.
question
Okay.
doesn't provide me X.
Actually
X
it's
should
given
be
here as sample,
X should be
it's
the
your sample.
number of citizen that took at least 30 minutes. But the question, you see, the task force collected random sample of 40 citizens, means the 40 citizen is to be tested, right? So the 40 citizens should be the sample space.
This citizen and this citizen is the same. Sample
Yeah,
is
but
X.
but the 40 citizen, the question, the second part, they didn't mention 40 citizen took at least 30 minutes. You see the P, right? The meaning of P is the true proportion of the citizen that took at least 30 minutes to queue.
No, the
That
true
just
proportion is here,
like-
55%.
Yeah, the statement you gave is just totally opposite from the P. You need I think we need to understand what is the P, right? The P is the proportion of the citizen that took at least 30 minutes to queue. But the question didn't mention the 40 citizen
Okay,
took
you
at
tell
least
what is
30
your
minutes.
N, if in that case, what is your N?
Yeah, okay.
Is
So
there an
when,
N is here,
when
it's related. Okay, it's related. It's
Yeah, so,
related. 40 from
if
this.
when I first see this
No,
question,
okay, I have to go already. So I hope your tutor will explain to you again. All right, this is the N here, related. Otherwise, you don't have N already.
yeah, sir, I understand. I okay. I don't require like to add marks or anything lah, but just I
Be
just want to.
careful, as I mentioned, all the X bar, Z, in exam, you got all this info, formula, all that. Don't look at other question. Don't look at other, let's say, any value like 22 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 to 15 minutes. All these are not important one. If you count already, then whatever is already given, you write down. Let's say 22 is the mean. So 22 means you don't use here already. But I find that some of you find the X by using N times 3. That one is binomial, which is wrong already. Okay, but so far only one group do like that lah. So remember, N here refer to this one. Don't look at other things already. Okay, the question can be mentioned extra information because you know lah, the COVID task force they come up with a lot of strategy SOP. But for us, we calculate based on this formula. That's all. Don't use the wrong one. That's it. The N here also use the N here ma. Okay. Formula X is a sample. 40 from 150 already. Okay? Yeah. All right. So, but I think your assignment, what do you get? Your group, how many marks?
46. I think the 4 marks is deducted from
That's
here lah.
just here lah. Okay lah. So
I
still not good.
Okay, sir. Never mind. It's okay. So case dismissed. But I still believe that the question itself has problem interpreting lah. So but it's okay. I let it pass. Yeah.
But be careful in exam. Don't make this mistake. Can
Yeah. So in exam, I just have to guess like. If the question is like this, I just have to guess.
Because
like,
no more open book.
Yeah, so like the question. If I think the question is wrong, then I have to like what I have to like try.
I don't think the exam question will be wrong lor. It should.
Yeah, hopefully lah. Hopefully, hopefully won't be wrong lah.
Yeah lah. Overall, you get how many marks for your coursework?
Coursework. You mean like the group assignment or like the total?
No, quiz test and
Oh,
assignment.
I got all the result, but I haven't calculated the total, like, the average mark.
Okay lah, 46, 92, almost all 90 over lah, normal lah. Don't worry lah, huh? Okay, alright. So all
Okay,
the
sir.
best.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.